This video is about the biggest spiritual mistakes that I've noticed on my own journey, and I'm sharing it in this video today. Let's get it.
Yeah. I'm inspired. I'm inspired.
Hey there guys, how's it going? My name is Sumit Chatterjee from the Flow Zone Academy, and I'm a flow state coach, which means that I help you feel better and perform better on your spiritual growth journey. There's gonna be some little mishaps along the path, okay? Little loopholes or little things that get you caught up and feeling stuck or feeling like you've hit a dead end. And I really want to help people if they're in this space at all. And a few of the things that I've noticed on my own spiritual journey, okay? The first thing you want to know is don't be so attached to what looks spiritual, because still based on the 3D understanding of like all of those things, right? But fashion, culture, style, all this kind of stuff can be spiritual. However, it's more we're focusing on the non-physical, okay, when we're talking about spirituality. Just because you have a man bun and you have your Rudraksha, it doesn't mean anything, right? It doesn't really mean that you are spiritual. It just means that you are interested in spiritual trends, okay? There's a very big difference. Unless you're practicing spirituality, I don't think you can even give yourself a label of spirituality. And again, these are my own opinions. Feel free to, say them how you want. I don't think there's anything right or wrong about spirituality. It's an open playing field. However, in a sense, there is no higher governing body of power, like saying that you must do this or you must do that. But there is this religious dogma that does get passed on to a lot of spirituality or spiritual trends or spiritual circles, in a sense, where people start to get very dogmatic, right? Very strict, very discriminatory. They'll make fun of you. Oh, you haven't done this ceremony yet? Oh, well, you're not as good as me, right? This spiritual ego that takes over. It's almost like, oh, I'm higher up because I've done all these trainings and courses and, I've learned to meditate and I've done all the... No, dude, that's not spiritual. Spirituality is an acceptance. It's a feeling of wholeness. It's an internal feeling, right? A state of mind where you use the gifts from the universe to actually make your life better, right? When you start going into this moral high ground or like comparing yourself to other people and how far along they are on this journey, and then start getting super, a little friendly competition is cool, right? Like, for instance, I love to, impact my own spirituality, and I like to compare with my friends, like how far I've come along in my path and how better I feel and all these sorts of things, right? It's not about right or wrong. It's about what is effective and what is ineffective. What has been so ineffective to you? You see, we might have this understanding that spiritual growth is easy. It's definitely not easy, but it's definitely not hard either. It is a combination of both, okay? It can be easy sometimes. It can be a little bit more complex at certain other times. However, don't get so attached to the way that it's supposed to look like or the way that it's supposed to be. I, myself, and Ryan G, on our Primal Sutra process, we've given ourselves this quote, which is embrace, appreciate, and apply. Okay? Embrace, appreciate, and apply. Whenever something weird is happening, you're noticing signs and synchronicities from the universe, and maybe you're talking to aliens, or maybe you have your crystals in the corner, and all of these different things that you're doing, right? They're going to give you signs, symbolism, archetypes, different things that are going to implant themselves into your subconscious mind and your psyche, and release work and more stuff that you, store into your mind, and then releasing more, and then putting more stuff in your mind. And more this process might get you to feeling like, I'm at a standstill, I'm at a dead end. Now, what do you do here? It's not about doing more. That's the answer. It's about being more. That dead end is a reminder of your own limitations, okay? And sometimes doing the spiritual work, we can come across our shadows, and we can come across a lot of different things that we don't want to see. However, we're dealing with everything invisible, right? We're dealing with things that are outside of our sense of, tangibly, physically there. So in terms of your spiritual growth, how can you really measure it, or the process of how it's working or not? You feel a sense of wholeness, integration, and the feeling that I give myself is like, I feel lighter, okay? Every time I have some kind of a healing session or something like this, I generally tend to feel a lot more lighter, like there's some energy that's new, a certain sense of newness. So I would even say that a lot of people, if they're not experiencing newness on their journey, if it's getting mundane and repetitive and it's not fun for them, they've got to enjoy the process and trust the process more, okay? A lot of the times we force our minds to meditate or force our minds to do this. You can't force your mind to do anything. Unfortunately, you're going to have to convince your mind, and convince, the word meaning convincere, which means to win together, okay? Winning with the other person. So understand, it's not you imposing your reality on someone, right? You're winning with another person. So really, really crucial to make that a mental note. Now, what do you mean by spiritual? What is your definition of spiritual, right? For me, it just means anything that is non-physical. However, spiritual growth, in the sense, is related to my emotions and how I'm feeling, okay? If I'm feeling happier, generally I am high-spirited, yes? And generally you want to be more aware and more conscious on this journey, right? If you're doing unconscious things and you are being rude to people and you're being abrasive to people and you're claiming that you're spiritual, it's not really like the way to go, you know what I mean? Like to abrasively attack people out of anger. It's not the way to go about this thing, right? It's got to take you to a very like proper level in your mind when you get angry, right? Because your anger is not going to help you so much on this spiritual journey. It's actually going to cloud your judgment more and more, the more anger and upset that you feel. So it's really like the anger work, releasing anger, doing the work to release your anger is also really crucial, I believe. I remember when I started my spiritual journey, I would just try out all the different modalities in the world, right? Try everything all at once just to try it out. That process, that phase is very interesting. It's almost like a brainstorming phase where you're just trying out everything, right? I think after a while you'll notice what are the practices that just faded away over time, like I didn't pay attention to them. And then there were certain thoughts, ideas in your own spiritual process that you kept remembering like years from now, like you just kept holding on to these little anecdotes, right? Like being the observer, for instance, and like, you know, you are not your thoughts. Like if you just held that philosophy, right, alive with you 1 year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, 10 years from now, right, you would have valid spiritual growth if you held on to certain beliefs or certain ideas that, again, you don't want to intellectualize those ideas. You want to embody your spiritual learnings and teachings, right? Which is why I notice a lot of spiritual teachers that sound more embodied than the rest, okay? I know, because the foundation is important. You got to do just the basic things at times to get yourself back into that spirit mode, you could say, of spiritual growth actually happening for you. So, but on our website, we're going to have a type form quiz to know where you're at on your spiritual journey, so we can help you out in regards to if you have any roadblocks or any problems that are, you know, coming up. We get a bunch of weird requests, like this girl once asked me to manifest her long lost cat back and things like this, but in any sense, it worked, okay? I'm not going to deny that. However, it was just a weird request. As you grow on this process, like, people will come to you, you know, for advice, and it's your responsibility to be the healer and to, you know, provide the service in a sense, right? I think don't overwhelm yourself so much about, you know, attaching yourself to results again. It's going to make the process a lot more difficult for you if you just get more into this kind of spiritual attachment, okay? Spiritual attachment means you're taking on an idea in your own psyche, in your own mind, and you're kind of just like focusing on it for so long that it's a part of your storyline, okay? I want to really avoid doing this. So let's say you had a great event happen to you. You don't want to be spiritually attached to the event. Then you're going to be resting on your laurels, and your present confidence is going to determine only on that past event thing, right? And so you won't, like, the main way to generate confidence is to feel aliveness in the moment, rather than trying to go to the past and dig up all of these artifacts, right? Ancient artifacts from your past. I hope this video helped you out today. Have an incredible day. May the flow be with you. I'm about to head to MMA training. later on in an hour or so. So I'm going to get some meditation done before that so I can go in with a clear mind. Let's get it today. May we never be the same again. Os, may the flow be with you. Stay legendary. Let's get it today.